Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Earlier today, I put out a video exposing the scripting within the men's college basketball championship, Villanova over North Carolina, April 4th, 2016. In this video, I want to provide more definitive proof that the game was scripted to the score 77-74. I know to most people that will sound completely unbelievable, but I will show why specifically it was scripted to this score and that it was, in fact, scripted. If you're new to my channel, I show the significance of numerology and gematria in sports. After this game, my understanding of scripting has grown because I have recognized the significance of measuring prime numbers in all of these championships. In the past, I've caught in patterns with prime numbers. For example, last year I predicted there'd be a Triple Crown winner in horse racing, which is about to start, because it had been 37 years since the last Triple Crown, and 37 is the 12th prime number. Last year, American Pharoah became the 12th Triple Crown winner ever after a gap of 37 years. There was more to it than that, but the prime number was very relevant. As it turns out, prime numbers were huge in this championship game, including the final sum of 151 points. So let's just go through some of the primes that stand out. Villanova's head coach tied their old head coach for a matching record in the NCAA tournament. 11 appearances in the tournament, 20 wins, 10 losses, and now they both have a championship coming 31 years apart. The number 31 is the 11th prime number. And think about that with both of them having 11 appearances. Villanova won in 85 and now in 2016. Basketball in gematria equals 85. Basketball the small way equals 22 and 31. It's been 31 years since 1985. 85 is also the year that the tournament expanded to 64 teams. March Madness equals 64, as does Villanova Wildcats. So, that covers the 11th prime, number 31, in the gap of 31 years and how it relates to basketball. The 36th prime is the number 151. The sum of last night's game was 151 points, 77-74. 36 was a big number for Villanova, as I documented in prior videos leading up to the championship. Villanova equals 36. This was their 36th year in the tournament. 2016 is a year with 36 numerology. Notice their new tournament record is 57 wins, 35 losses. Catholic equals 35. They're a Catholic school. In the history of the nation, there's only been one Catholic president, JFK. He was the 35th president. 57, when you write that out as a word, 57 in gematria sums to the same thing as championship, the same thing as Super Bowl. And World Series also has gematria of 57. A number associated with championships, their 57th win for the championship. The head coach of Villanova, Gerald Taylor Wright, gematria of 96, his full name. Villanova in their 96th year as a program, the word Freemason equals 96. The Freemasons have this practice of numerology, gematria, doing things by numerical patterns. Gerald J. Wright Jr., he is a junior. His full name in gematria sums to 106, the number of prophecy. And as I explained before the tournament, the Philadelphia train wreck from May 12th last year, that was directly connected to the Golden State Warriors NBA championship last year. Golden State, originally from Philadelphia, Iguodala, the finals MVP who played the majority of his career with the Philadelphia 76ers. 106-mile-per-hour train wreck in Philadelphia last year. This year, a day before the tournament began, there was a train wreck in Kansas in Garden City. Garden City in gematria equals 106. Again, I pointed out before the tournament began how this synced up with Philadelphia. What I overlooked then was how Villanova is connected to Philadelphia. Number of prophecy. J right in gematria equals 49. Revelation equals 49. Revelation's the final book of the Bible, the book of prophecy, where the name Philadelphia comes from. The city Villanova is connected to. This year was North Carolina's 106th year as a basketball program, again syncing up with Gerald J. Wright. Covered a lot of this information in the first video. Sorry if this is redundant for those of you who already watched that. Lots of new information to come. So, here's the score. 77-74, the Catholic school wins, which has connections with the Bible, Jesus Christ. Notice that Jesus equals 74, Christ equals 77, like the score. And when you sum 74 and 77, it sums to 151, the 36th prime number, corresponding with Villanova, and it being their 36th year in the tournament. The name Jay, J-A-Y, 10 plus 1 plus 25 also equals 36. The head coach is named Jay. The train wreck the day before the championship, CNN's headline early, Amtrak train derails, gematria of 77, just like Radnor Township, which is where Villanova is located. Villanova in Radnor Township, they win with 77 points. In the Elite Eight, North Carolina won with 88 points, Tar Heels equals 88. For the tournament, before the game, they announced that the Tar Heels averaged 88 points all tournament. Talk about scripted to the point. Anyhow, notice that North Carolina defeated Notre Dame with 74 points. On Easter Sunday, the day that we remember the resurrection of Jesus Christ, think about that. Jesus equals 74, cross equals 74, Masonic equals 74, Jewish equals 74, Messiah equals 74, Muhammad equals 74, Lucifer equals 74. Muhammad's supposed to be the latest prophet since Jesus in the Quran. Notre Dame, the other Catholic school, going down with 74 points on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday has gematria of 44, a number we're going to talk about, a number associated with killing and death. When North Carolina lost, they had 33 wins on the season. Villanova also eliminated Kansas, the favorite to win the tournament. Kansas went down with 33 wins. Think about 33 and 74, Jesus crucified on the cross at age 33. In the United States, out of the 50 states, only one has a gematria of 74, Oregon, the 33rd state. Think about the nation's birthday, 7-4, July 4th. Think about the nation's original capital, Philadelphia, and how it came from Revelation. If you read Revelation, the numbers most commonly used are 7 and 4. At the beginning of the tournament, Gonzaga had the upset in the opening round, scoring 35 points in the first half. Gonzaga is a Catholic school. Villanova scoring 34 and 43. 43 is the 191st prime number. It also corresponds with the words champion and Tar Heels. Notice Tar Heels equals 34-43. Villanova advances over the Tar Heels in the championship. North Carolina goes down with 35 points in the second half, the Catholic number. So anyhow, 43 and 191 have a relationship. Let's come back up here. 191 is the 43rd prime number. Each of these rows has 19, so this is the 38th, 39th, 40th, 41, 42, 43. 191, the 43rd prime number. And the reason that is significant is, again, it connects to Tar Heels and Champion, but it also connects to the Jesuit order. And I've been explaining. The train wrecks are connected to the Catholic Church. May 12th, the date of the first train wreck, was the 132nd day of the year. Catholic Church equals 132. The Catholic Church connected to the Jesuit order. Right now, the Pope of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, is the first Jesuit Pope. The Jesuit order is also known as the Society of Jesus, and their birthday is September 27th. This year, Pope Francis left the United States from Philadelphia on September 27th. That was exactly 191 days before the tournament began on April 4th. And if you go back to my NBA season preview, I talked about how the Pope's visit was connected to the upcoming basketball seasons and how college and NBA are connected. What happens in college is connected to what happens in the NBA. Last year's college tournament was connected to the NBA Finals. I have videos on this going back to last year. So Society of Jesus equals 191. The game comes 191 days later. 191 is the 43rd prime. 43, a number on the tournament. The word March itself also equals 43. Think about March Madness. The tournament began in March. These prime numbers, I can't overlook them again. You know, there were some major clues in the prime numbers. Wish I saw this sooner. Again, last year, the train wreck in Philadelphia, May 12th, the 132nd day of the year. Catholic Church equals 132. Notice that train wreck equals 122. It was connected to the NBA Finals that Golden State won. The Golden State Warriors, originally from Philadelphia. It was also connected to Pope Francis's upcoming visit at the time. That upcoming visit's the one where he left September 27th. That was the first time the Pope visited the United States since 79. 79, then in 2015, 26 years later. From the date of the train wreck, May 12th, to the date of the college championship was exactly 47 weeks. Very special number. Number I talked about before the game, a number that came up huge in the end when this happened. In case you didn't see the game, let's watch this highlight real quick from the end. North Carolina ties the game at 74-74, and the scorekeeper deliberately puts 4.7 seconds on the clock. Watch this. Did you see how the clock went down to 4.6 and then the scorekeeper bumped it up to 4.7? Watch this again. It's a miracle shot. Let's just watch the whole play. It's a real prayer. Watch this. Did you see that? Watch again. 4.6 and then up to 4.7. Every time. See? So look, the score becomes 74-74 and they put 4.7 on the clock purposefully. I've been talking about this for years in sports, how they manipulate the clock according to numbers of significance that have to do with the game, have to do with the overall event. The first college basketball championship was in the year 39. It was played between Oregon and Ohio. Oregon is the only state with 74 gematria. Ohio is one of two with 47. The other is Nevada. 74-47. 74-74 with 4.7 seconds. And then who inbounds the ball? The Christian school. So anyway, before we get to the inbound, which went to Villanova's point guard, let's examine this. The date of the Philadelphia train wreck last year, not the one the day before the championship, but the one that I talked about in the preview video and how it was connected, which came 44 weeks to the day of the Kansas Garden City train wreck. That day, May 12, 2015, was a date with 52 numerology. Pope equals 52, so does Nova, short for Villanova. This year, the United States is 239 years old. 239 is the 52nd prime number, talking about prime numbers. So Christian in gematria equals 47. Villanova, a Catholic school, a Christian school. Jesus, cross, gospel, Messiah, Masonic, Jewish, all words with 74 gematria. 47-74. Again, the nation's birthday is July 4th. Currently, the country is 239 years old. In Jewish prophecy, they say the Golden Gate is what the Messiah will arrive through. Golden Gate, Torah, gematria of 239. Messiah equals 74. I think these sports are scripting something major to happen in the United States in the near future, and it might happen in the Carolinas. They've now lost 3 sports championships in the last year. My very first blog post from October of 2013 is talking about the next 9/11, the Carolinas, and how through mainstream media, through news, there's all this predictive programming for disaster in the Carolinas. And this is long before any of these sports championships happened that all seem to be signaling doom as well. We'll talk more about that with the Simpsons episode the day before the game. There was some predictive programming in the cartoon The Simpsons for this game. With regards to the Golden Gate Bridge, the Golden State Warriors, who are originally from Philadelphia, who share a connection to Villanova through these train wrecks and championships, on their jersey, on their symbol, it's of the Golden Gate Bridge on the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors in gematria sums to 108. Villanova equals 108. Big Smooth, who hit the game winner for Villanova last night, equals 108. So does the full name of the point guard, who we're about to talk more about, who took the inbound pass with 4.7 seconds. At the end of the game, they announced it was his 144th game, and that was a sign that it was definitely over in the favor of Villanova. Remember, on his 22nd birthday, they defeated Kansas in the upset. Basketball equals 22. Ryan in gematria equals 22, the small way, just like basketball. Name gematria of his name, 108. His name he's called out in the games, just sums to 78, which is also interesting because this year was the 78th year of the men's college basketball tournament. His birth numerology, March 26, 1994, a date with a life lesson number of 52, like Nova, like Pope, connecting to this year, 239, the 52nd prime. He's the champion this year in college basketball. Emphasis on how he got the ball with 4.7 seconds. Look at this post here from this news source. These news sources, so many of them are in on the coding. They update their article at 7:47 when the score was 74-74 with 4.7 seconds on the clock. So anyhow, at the end of the game, this guy, the Villanova player seemingly of prophecy, they announced that it's his 144th game, and this just put a huge grin on my face. 144 was a huge number on this tournament. It's connected to 44. Remember, in the Final Four, Villanova advanced over Oklahoma, winning by 44 points, a tournament record. 95 stood out because April 4th, because it's a leap year, was the 95th day of the year, winning by 44 points, playing in the championship on 4-4 on the 95th day. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. When you write out April 4th, it sums to 144. When you write out Mark of the Beast, it sums to 144. And there's a reason Mark of the Beast is up there. Again, this guy played in 144 games, a school record. Last night, his final game was his 144th. Yesterday, April 4th, was also a date with 44 numerology. With regards to Mark of the Beast, the word beast has gematria of 47, as does time. Talk about beast and time in a moment and the relationship in numbers. But anyway, Mark of the Beast equals 144, time equals 47. He gets the ball with 4.7 seconds to set up what becomes already probably one of the most famous shots in tournament history. It's the first buzzer beater to win the championship in 33 years. The last time it happened was North Carolina State over Houston. Last night, University of North Carolina went down in Houston on a buzzer beater 33 years later, finishing their season with 33 wins. So anyhow, check this out. I better just show you right quick like this. Time. Time has Jewish gematria of 144 and simple English gematria of 47. Special numbers, numbers we're talking about. And now let me make this a little bit more clear. Think about how time goes in cycles and circles. 12 times 12 equals 144. There's 12 months in a year. There's 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours at night. 144 is a Fibonacci number. It happens to be the 12th Fibonacci number. So 12, 144 time. Think about, again, time goes in cycles and circles. This is what I want you to get right here. Pi, the number that has to do with cycles and circles. When you add the first 144 decimal points of pi, starting with 1 plus 4 plus the next 142 decimal points, when you add them all up, it sums to 666. Remember, mark of the beast equals 144. Mark of the beast is a reference to 666. When you divide 22 by 7, it sums to 3.14, an approximation of pi. And when you write out 22 divided by 7 in gematria, it sums to 314, a lot like 3.14. All of this stuff is truly coded into our language. These are mystery numbers and words in the Bible, but in truth, they're just all mathematics. And they might truly be the mathematics of this world we live in. So are you following me, how this is all coming together? North Carolina as a university is exactly 227 years old this year. 22 divided by 7 equals 3.14. This number that has to do with pi, cycles and circles, 144, 666. And this year, North Carolina's basketball program was 106 years old. This number of prophecy. Remember, Villanova's coach, named gematria of 106, if you count the junior. Notice that prophecy also sums to 666. This number comes from Revelation in the Bible, just like the name Philadelphia. I hope I explained that clearly enough. And again, all the 36 we began with. Villanova equals 36. 2016 has numerology of 36. It's Villanova's 36th tournament. If you add 1 through 36 together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, up to 36, it sums to 666. The number of numbered spaces on the roulette wheel, cycles and circles. Are you getting it? Gambling, sports, gambling, roulette, these numbers, they're not arbitrary. In Revelation 13:18, it discusses the number 666. In the King James Version, it works at 600, 3 score and 6. Score means 20. 3 score, 3 times 20, 60. 666. If you decode that verse, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, it sums to 223 in gematria. It is the Freemasons behind all of this. Catholic Church, religion, so much. Masonic equals 223. The Synagogue of Satan in gematria equals 223. These numbers all connect, and they go also to the verse about 666. Revelation 3:7 through 13 talks about the Church of Philadelphia and the Synagogue of Satan. I noticed after they won in the Final Four, ESPN had up this, 223. Our boy that played in his 144th game in the championship, and also the coach, Jay, with the 666 connections himself, plus the number of prophecy. At the end of the game, there was this weird play where Marcus Page had a chance to lay it in. Shoot, Truth Seeker, I thought I was plugged in here. Didn't want to lose the recording. Sorry about that. Anyhow, at the end of the game, Marcus Page had this lay-in. It rattled out. He picked it back up. He put it back in. The clock went down to 22.2 and then ticked back up one to 22.3, just like how it did from 4.6 to 4.7. It seemed that the scorekeeper really wanted to get this 223 in there. Very interesting. And again, covered this in the last video. The game, it started at 6:19 Pacific, 9:19 Eastern, 1:19 Universal Standard Time on April 5th, 2016. April 5th, 2016 had date numerology of 45. Villanova in this game avenged their championship loss from 45 years ago to UCLA. 1:19 Universal Standard Time, the time that the Masonic, Zionist, Jesuit, banker tyrants go by, that is also the 79th minute of the day. 79th minute. Championship equals 79, and there's also something specific about 119. Start time, awkward start time, but started then by the numbers for a reason. 79th minute Universal Standard Time, champion equals 79. Look at champion in English gematria, 474. We get that sequence at the end, 4.7, 74 on the scoreboard before they hit the big 3 for 77. The day before the championship, the train hit the backhoe outside of Philadelphia. Backhoe 79. In simple English gematria, backhoe equals 45. They avenged their loss of 45 years. And this game started April 5th, Universal Standard Time. Ended April 5th, 4-5. Think about who's over there. The Vatican? You know, the Vatican's not exactly on Universal Standard Time, but in that part of the world, it already was that time at the Vatican. And this all traces back to the Catholic Church. Think about it. Last Pope visit in 1979. And that Pope who visited replaced the 33-day Pope who was murdered on a date with 44 numerology. I have several videos on that. John Paul I. 33-day Pope. 33, the number of sacrifice. North Carolina coming in with 33 wins. Leaves with 33 wins. Had a biblical finish with these numbers. Christian 47, Jesus 74, Cross 74, Holy Bible equals 45. And the last time they lost was 71, which happens to have gematria of 45 as well. 45 years later. How about it? Should be noted that from 1971 to 2015 was a span of 44 years. The season began in 2015. Their player that played 144 games, Ryan, wore the number 15. Seems that the tournament was truly scripted all around him in hindsight. April 4th, 144, 44, 144, 71, 144. Remember, Pearl Harbor Day equals 144. They got beat, their worst loss of the season, Pearl Harbor Day, by Oklahoma, who they avenged that loss in the Final Four, beating them by 44 points. The day before the tournament, the train crash hoax. Passengers sensed crash coming, gematria of 119. The Universal Standard start time, 119 of the game. All-Seeing Eye, Star of David, gematria of 119. Same with King James Version of the Bible. The version that's very coded by the Masons. The day before the game on the Simpsons cartoon, they began their show with this: if Villanova doesn't win, we lose everything. I mean, what a cryptic thing to write. 4 words, 3 words. 4 words, 3 words. Champion equals 43. Tar Heels equals 43. This show was on April 3rd, 2016, 43. And remember, 191, which connects to Society of Jesus, the 43rd prime, which connects back to Villanova, and which tells us that Villanova was scripted to be this sacrificial lamb, if you will, for the gigantic Catholic ritual that continued through this latest basketball championship. This should say the Simpsons, not the Simpson. There's supposed to be an S there. The Simpsons has gematria 49, just like Revelation. Using Revelation or using the Simpsons to predict things. Something that's happened before. Simpsons full of predictive programming. Also, the guy who hit the championship game winner, Big Smooth. Big Smooth in gematria equals 108. Small Wave 45. Villanova 108. He avenges the loss from 45 years ago. His brother played on North Carolina. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. A brother hitting the game winner by the numbers. 71 also connects to Catholic. Catholic also equals 35. Villanova earned their 35th win. of the season last night. Just amazing. It's amazing how they script it, Truth Seeker. And if you missed my work in the pregame, they had up this. ESPN had this up all afternoon before the game started. 2:11 timestamp. That's 131 seconds. Championship equals 131. The number 211 is also the 47th prime number, and we know how 47 shaped up at the end with 4.7 seconds. Mason equals 211. 211, the 47th prime. 47, a very important number to the Masons. In Freemasonry, they have this 47th problem of Euclid, which has to do with building. It's about the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras, very much into gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Mathematics gave us the musical scale. This problem is about the ratio between three squares. A square made up of 3 blocks, 9 total blocks, 3 each direction, 16 blocks, 4 each direction, and 25 blocks, 5 each direction. So a ratio of the square root of 9, 3, the square root of 16, 4, the square root of 25, 5. A ratio of 3, 4, 5. Villanova went into yesterday's game with a record of 34-5. They advanced 35-5. Talked about that in the pregame. I said that could be what it's about, but I said North Carolina also has some ties to that number, so I couldn't go either way. We saw how it finished, though, with the 4.7 seconds, the 74. Remember what Masonic equals. You know, our 74-74 finish. Masonic. So anyway, some new information, some redundant information. I do this work for those of you who are really trying to learn this, really trying to improve your skill at this, and get ahead of the curve. You know, there's always more to learn. I'm someone who's always learned from my mistakes. Predicting North Carolina and seeing them go down in the championship, that just gave me more motivation to figure out what went wrong. And what I'm taking away from this is I cannot overlook these prime numbers. I've always known they're important, and they were huge in this one, you know? Again, first win, championship in 31 years. Connected to basketball, 31 the 11th prime. Coaches matching records in their 11th tournament. The score summing to 151 points. 151, the 36th prime, syncing up with Villanova. And then the game coming 191 days after the Pope left from Philadelphia. The Pope connected all these train wrecks. 191, the 43rd prime. Another big number on the game. So, for any of you who might be at Villanova watching this, you're college students. You're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be using your brain. I'd love to hear back from you. There's got to be a Villanova student who watches this video. And realize what I'm doing. I'm giving you free knowledge about how this world really works that you're not going to learn anywhere else. Not yet. Not until it spreads further. Any professors at Villanova watching this, I would love to hear a response. This information needs to get out there. People need to see what's really going on. These college athletes getting taxpayer money, playing in rigged sports games, deceiving the masses who pay the taxes. The refs really did a number on last night's game. Every call went Villanova's way. It was obvious that the script was in. All right, Truth Seeker, until next